Hey everybody, it's Jeff from San Diego Seed Company, and they say it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Well, it's 5 o'clock here, and this is the only spot in the garden that's has direct, harsh sunlight. So I came to this shady spot with my photo organizer with a very important announcement. And that announcement is, thank you guys, our viewers. We just broke 50,000 subscribers on the channel, which is huge for us. We're so just honored that you would spend time learning how to garden with Bridget and John and I, that we wanted to do a fun giveaway. And I was tricking you in the beginning. This is not my photo organizer. Let me just open this up. Here's a quick tip during the giveaway video that I will show. If you want to organize your seeds, you can use one of these things. If you notice, I've got them labeled in my own fun way. So I've got miscellaneous beans, cucumbers, cruciferous, herbs, kale, micro, lettuce, corn, melon, pumpkin peas, radish, roots, peppers, squash, and tomato. The cool thing is, let's say you grow only tomatoes or you don't grow winter crops. You can organize it however you want. And then let's say, what should we give away? Maybe maybe we should give away lettuce. Even though it's July, it'll get to you just in time. Those early lettuce plantings. So in here I've got spinach. Maybe you could win some spinach at this giveaway. We've also got corn salad, more spinach, lots of spinach. I've got like 6 types. Freckles lettuce. Anyway, before I keep going on and on about organizing seeds, let's get to the giveaway. Okay, so how do you enter? You like the channel, you comment on this video, and you definitely have to subscribe to the newsletter, which will be in the comments below, because that is how we're gonna announce this giveaway. And we're not just gonna have one winner, we're gonna have 10 winners, 5 seed packs each. For those mathematicians, that equals 50,000 subscribers. And again, we're doing this because we are just honored that you guys would spend your time with us, and we just wanted to say thank you. So enter that competition, but before we leave this video, let's just look around the garden and do some harvesting.
All right, so let's start things off by looking at tomatoes. Most popular thing, and we've got tons of them. So I want to show you a quick update. You've seen our tomato cage videos on these Romas. The reason why we're doing tomatoes in cages is because these are a determinate variety. They don't need to grow up and up and up. They're not vining, these are bush. And so with that in mind, you can see we have lots of tomatoes coming in, but unlike my shirt, they are still green. They are hanging out. Oop. Good maintenance tip, be on the lookout for critter activity. We want to get this off so the plant's not trying to do anything with that, but instead put in its energy where we want it. And so as these ripen up, turn red, this whole bush is going to be covered in delicious Romas, perfect for lots of salsa making, lots of sauce making. That is salsa, just in Spanish, same word. But anyways, really looking forward to that coming soon.
Okay, so those were determinate, meaning all that red goodness is gonna come at a determined amount of time, which is all at once. These are indeterminate tomatoes. These are the San Marzano. And if you haven't seen our other videos, what just happened there? Some of you may be like, oh no, he picked it way too early. As soon as you see any blushing of red or whatever the final color is supposed to be, sometimes it's yellow, sometimes it's purple, sometimes it's green, you can pick them. So as soon as they blush, you can pick them, put them on a windowsill, and they are going to ripen up and taste just the same as if you waited for them to ripen up. One reason why I love to pick them when they're at this stage is because it's less time for critters to get them, less time for splitting, and less time for disease to get the plant. And so you're going to ensure you're going to get a nice, good tomato without spoiling it.
All right, moving over to another very popular summer crop. We've got cucumbers. Now this plant, we have only left this to get covered in powdery mildew solely for educational purposes. This is no negligence of our part by any means. No, we screwed up. This plant, it's got to come out of the garden. So what we're gonna do, enjoy some of the last cucumbers that we can get off this guy. We've got one here. Oh, we got another. Woof. You can't see it probably, but there's mildew flying around. It's pretty gross. What we will start to see at this point is fruit getting more misshapen, just not growing very nicely. And so in the next couple days, we're gonna take this whole plant out before this powdery mildew expands any further throughout the garden. But got our last couple cucumbers off this guy, so it's been a long, very fruitful season with this plant, so we're happy to have had it, and it's time to say goodbye and move on to the next thing.
Quick PSA, stake your peppers. When you put them in, you're like, oh, what a cute little plant. But then they grow these rather large bell peppers, and then it just falls over. As you can see, it's still functioning, but obviously you don't want a plant sitting on the ground too long, or you're just gonna get critters getting in there, biting your fruit, getting on the leaves, infesting it. So definitely stake them. The other thing I want you guys to notice is this guy right here. So this is two things in action at once. The first is, see how it's discolored? It's just less green. That is because this face has been facing the sun. It's called sunscald. So it creates this soft part on the plant, which allows little worms and little critters and caterpillars to get into the fruit through that soft body, and then it just kind of destroys the pepper. And if we looked in here, it just doesn't look great. I don't want to eat this part. If I was really striving for food, I could just cut off this bad part. It honestly doesn't look that bad. It has, the critters haven't got to a lot. Just cut that part off, eat this half, and then call it a day. Okay, so let's say you don't want to waste half sides of all your fruit. Shade cloth. You've heard Bridget talk about this all the time. It is a lifesaver. So if you want to avoid sunscald, just drape some sun protection over it. It's just like wearing sunscreen for your plants. If you want to, you can put up stakes so it's not actually resting on your plant. But if your peppers are already staked, and adding a little bit of shade cloth on top of them is not going to hurt it. The sun obviously gets through still, 60% through, 40% blockage, and that is going to help you avoid sunscald so you have nice peppers all throughout the season, even when it's hot. Okay, and now we're back at the pumpkin patch. If you guys follow our channel, you've seen this before, but just come down here and look at these beauties. This is the Cinderella variety, and it's like straight out of a movie. Look at this thing. It's perfectly like peach and orange. I'm just so excited about this. You're saying, hey, it's only July. Aren't pumpkins like a crop for the fall? Yeah, you can plant them later, but we planted them, and it seems like we planted them at just the right time. It hasn't gotten too hot for these leaves yet. If you plant them late, sometimes what happens in August and September is that it's so hot, the plant droops, and it's like in survival mode, and it can't really produce these big luscious fruit like this one has. And this is one plant. This is what you're seeing probably in the camera angle is about 1/3 of the plant mass. The other 2/3 went that way down a little hill on the south side of our property, and it just created a bunch of these solar panels. And so we've got this guy, we've got this guy down here, and then we have 3 other that are even bigger than this that I've already just snipped off to give more energy to these fruit, get these up to the big size that those other 3 are.
Alrighty, so let's wrap things up by looking at some other plants in the squash gourd family. We've got butternut squash here, just on the pretty simple trellis, a couple years old, so it's falling apart, but it's doing the job. It's hanging in there. On these 2 plants, we have about a dozen butternut squash. So those, being a winter squash, we're gonna hold them for a few months, let them cure first, and then store them and make delicious soup with those later in the winter. And then over here, we have loofah. Now this is one that we love growing and have done it for a few years now. A little bit late to the loofah game this year, but we wanted to do that so we can direct sow them, not having to transplant them, and so we wanted the soil temps and the nighttime temps to be warm enough. So we've got some nice fruit growing on here. They'll get anywhere from about 18 inches to a couple feet long, dry out, and then we'll use them for scrubbing our bodies. Kind of takes it home here for the video. So this time of the year, be sure to stay on top of harvesting, pruning, keeping things like powdery mildew at bay. Harvest heavily. I know I said that, but it deserves to be said twice. In just a couple days, you can have a squash go from being this to way overgrown. So keep an eye on your plants, even though it is so hot out here some of these days. And then most importantly, enter that giveaway. Be sure to like this video, comment on this video, make sure you're subscribed, and then of course subscribe to the newsletter, because that's where we'll announce the 10 winners, each getting 5 packs. So looking forward to announcing that, sharing that information with you, and we look forward to keep growing our community here, and we're so thankful that we've made it this far.